time that you may remember our friend Bill O'Reilly came back, things got so heated that some of us were jumping out of our seats. And with the road to elections 2012 picking up speed and a new book that is already on the Amazon bestseller list, it is the perfect time for another visit. Please welcome, that's the book, good book. Please, we'll talk more. So, please welcome back Bill O'Reilly. You two, I think you should fasten your seatbelts. I'm just taking precautions. In case of a bump, you'll have to help her.
Clearly, I'm too big.
She has to take some drug before she does that, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so you asked recently, Newsweek did an article on you, and you said that you have more power than anyone, including the President of the United States, because you can get things changed so quickly. I am quoting you. You get the most modest award of the year.
Well, I mean, it was in context to why don't you run for office? That's what the question was. Why don't I run for office? I said, why would I do that? Because I have more power than the Congress people and the senators, because we can get things done very, very fast. Just this week, actually, OnStar. Like, I know you're not buying this, Barbara, but just listen to me with an open mind. Open the mind, you know. OnStar, all right, if you have OnStar in your car, and then you cancel it, OnStar still spies on you.
They still are.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay, we did this story on that on Tuesday. On Wednesday, OnStar says, oh, we're not going to do that anymore. We're changing our policy. That's what I was talking about, the quick, rapid response that we can bring.
That's a good way to find a stolen car, is it not?
It is, and OnStar is a good service, but once you don't want the service anymore, you don't want them still listening to you.
We've already decided that you're the most powerful man in this country.
Thank you, absolutely.
Wait a second, I'm naming a sequel.
We had Dick Cheney on recently, and he said that you tried to get him to interview, a guest on your show. And why doesn't he want to come on your show?
I think he thinks I'm a punk. Oh. You know, he thinks, what do I want to go on and take this guy's stuff when I can come on and talk to the View ladies?
Yeah.
You know,
we're tougher than you sometimes.
Well, that's for sure, but I would have asked him some challenging questions, and I don't think the former vice president wanted to answer.
Obama has come on with you. Everybody who's got any sense goes on with you, because they like the judge.
You come on once in a while, right?
Yes, I do. We have a good time.
The reason Barbara comes on is she knows we have a powerful audience.
Oh, no, whenever I'm on with him, he says to me, oh, now your ratings will go up, because I have such a hard time without you. But I appreciate it.
Now who's modest? Now who's modest? Yeah.
But you know what? Yeah. I appreciate it.
Okay. Anytime.
Okay, so we talked a lot yesterday and earlier about Chris Christie, who made a big speech last night at the Reagan Library, and a lot of people feel, he should be the candidate for the Republicans. The Republicans are pushing him. You don't think it's such a good idea?
No, I think I like the governor. I think he's feisty and entertaining. I think he's honest, but I think he should fulfill his obligation to the people of New Jersey who elected him to clean up the state. Yeah. And Sarah Palin, I think, lost a lot of credibility when she resigned in Alaska. Sure. When people vote for somebody, they have emotion invested in that vote, and they want them to do what they voted them in to do. And New Jersey's a mess. It's a mess. It needs to be cleaned up. I think he could probably do it. So there'll be another time for Chris.
He will do it. I mean, the Republicans are pushing him so because they don't like that candidate.
Look, all I can say to the governor is, look what happened to Governor Perry. They were pushing Governor Perry to get in. As soon as he gets in, they tear him to pieces. All right, that's what's going to happen.
What do you think happened to Perry? Because he was the front runner. Everybody.
He's still the front runner.
Well, I mean, he said some things. It seems like people have turned against him. His party.
Well, it's always going to happen that way. If you get into politics, a dirty game. They're going to attack you. You're going to go up. You're going to go down. You're going to make mistakes. You'll make a comeback. It's what it is.
Who has it to win it in the general election? Do you think on the Republican side?
I think it's going to be a brawl. I think it's going to be a brawl in the Republican primaries, and it's going to be a brawl in the general election. I think it's going to be one of the dirtiest campaigns in history because we're divided in it. Well, we're a divided nation now. There's a lot of class warfare in play, and it's going to be nasty.
A lot of racial warfare in play as well.
That's true.
There was a poll that came out.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was going to say there was a poll that came out recently that said a lot of majority of people believe that any Republican running could beat President Obama. So what do you think his chances are? As far
I
as
think anybody who counts President Obama out's a fool. I mean, he's a great campaigner. So you have to. He would carry his car. He's a great campaigner, but he's got a tremendous deficit in the sense the economy's awful. It's terrible.
I mean, would you agree with this? Obama in 2008 couldn't beat Obama in 2012?
I don't know. Those are hypotheticals, Elizabeth. All I know is this. The American people are angry. They're angry on both sides. The president has not succeeded in turning the economy around. He hasn't. It's a simple fact. So that he has to run against, the president is basically running against his expectations. It's a referendum on President Obama. It doesn't really matter who the Republican candidate is, unless it's a total idiot. Because the public, President Obama is running against. Not really, because
he's running against himself.
He's running against himself. It's a referendum on him. It's a referendum on what the expectations were and whether he fulfilled them. That's what it is.
You said last night on your show that sweet spot is the independent vote, right? Yeah. Right now, over half of the independent voters say they wouldn't vote for him. So he's in trouble then, right?
Big trouble. There's no doubt about it.
Maybe I'm the only one who thinks this, but is there anyone paying attention to the fact that he has been stymied at every turn? The promise that the Republicans made the day after he was elected was that they were going to make sure that he was a one-term president and weren't going to help him. How do you get folks to turn around?
Have to decide whether it's the Republican Party's fault that the economy is bad, or whether it's his fault.
That it's all our faults that
not my fault the economy is bad. I'm doing what I can. I employ a lot of people. Not my fault.
But Bill, when I say it's all of our faults, I guess what I'm talking about is, if we as a nation had paid more attention to the paperwork that we were signing when we were taking money that we knew we couldn't pay back to help get us into it. I don't think it's the Republicans or the Democrats' fault. I think it's all of us.
Okay, guys, I gotta stay with us. We have more questions, and also.
You guys are gonna be nice to me, though, right?
So far.
I'm just waiting.
No. I have to tell you that you have written a book finally that's not about yourself. That's about Lincoln. Okay, we have read the book. It is a very interesting book. It's about the assassination of Lincoln. We're going to talk about that. We're going to come back with other questions. You can dish it and you can take it. That's why we like to have you. We'll be right back with Bill O'Reilly.
We are happy to be back with Bill O'Reilly. I want to talk to you about your book, Killing Lincoln, and I want to give everyone just a warning before we talk about this book. If you or your kids read this book, you may indeed fall in love, not with Bill, but with history. This is a remarkable look at this point in history. It reads like a fantastic movie.
I agree.
It is a day-to-day look at the days of Abraham Lincoln as president, assassination, and how Booth almost got away with it. I could not put it down. I wish history was taught to me this way. You were a history teacher.
Yeah, that's why I wrote the book for two reasons. Because number one, I'm really teed off that the public school system doesn't teach history anymore, and the kids don't know what they're doing. All right. So I decided to write a history book as in the form of a Grisham novel. This is like a John Grisham novel. You pick it up, you're going to keep you up at night. It's the last 2 months of Lincoln's life, day by day. Boom, 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 boom. Everything's going on. Lincoln, the most hated man in America, the most hated man. All right. South hated him. A lot of people in North hated him. Threats against him all day long. His wife was a loon. He's got crazy stuff going on all around him. Yet he persevered. And then the second reason I wrote it is because we need Abraham Lincoln now in this country. We're in trouble. This country's in trouble. It's on the decline.
What would he do now?
We need a leader who's going to put the country over himself, knock the ideology off, and do what's best for the country.
Who is that leader?
I don't know yet. I mean, we have to all make an individual decision on that. But if you read about Lincoln, and from what I have in here, you'll know he was the best president ever. He is the gold standard for leadership.
Yes, and look
when
what
Lincoln
happened.
took office, he was a big strapping guy, over 6 foot, almost a weightlifter build. 4 years later, he's hunched over and is aged 30 years.
Stressful
all right?
job.
Stressful. I mean, the guy was under fire every second, yet he put his country first.
Can I ask you something? When you watch the Republican debates and you hear the people, whoever they are, yelling, booing the gay soldier, or cheering on the fact that you put somebody to death who's on a gurney because he doesn't have insurance, is that the party of Lincoln?
Look,
Lincoln was a Republican.
I'm not going to get into the party politics because I don't care about that. It's not what I do. I watch them all, and I'm not going to get involved with that. I'm telling you the country's in trouble. We owe $14.5 trillion we can't pay back. Our power's on the decline everywhere. The next president has to get in and demand of all of us sacrifice. We're all going to have to make sacrifices.
But so now I go back to the question I asked before, because the president has demanded sacrifices from everybody, and they don't want. It just doesn't seem like everybody wants to hear it. So how do we find somebody that everybody likes?
We know
everybody hates.
Everybody hated Lincoln. Well, look, President Obama may be the guy, or the Republican may be the guy. I don't know. But they've got to lead by example. No, the president, it's a top-down situation. The president has to lead, has to level with people.
Do you think he's not? Do you think Obama is far from
I'm
Lincoln?
not going to talk about partisan politics here because that's not why I wrote
You're saying what we need, meaning we don't have it. Why would we need something we already have?
Well, we don't have it yet. We don't have the leadership at the top, and in Congress either.
Nobody wants us to make
that's going to put the country first, rather than the ideology in my reelection
We wanted to make sacrifices right after 9/11. Bush did not ask the country to make sacrifices after 9/11. That was the moment to do it.
Back to Bush bashing, and I think it's boring. I think it's boring.
I'm really a historian. I'm giving you history.
That's right. But if you read. If you guys want to live your life as partisans, go ahead.
But Bill,
that doesn't interest me. I'm talking to both sides.
Okay.
It doesn't interest me. What interests me is problem solving. Lincoln kept this country together for the sheer force of his personality.
But you said...
You all need to know what the man did. And he was killed. He knew he was going to be killed.
He knew it.
He knew he was going to die.
You're talking about the fact, even though you say no partisan, what you were saying is that somebody's got to be tough, somebody's got to be strong, and
know they're going to get killed.
And honest.
Okay, let me ask you a question, even though you don't...
I'm just saying, I'm sorry, Barbara.
I don't even want to bring that up, but do you know, even though you won't say it, do you know the person who has this... So none at the moment...
Well, I have an open mind, and I try to do that all the time, about what's going to happen or who should be in the office. I'm listening to all of them and evaluating, okay? That's what I do. But I also know that Abraham Lincoln is my gold standard, that I want to see somebody who brings that kind of inspiration to the country, and that's why I wrote this book.
Do you believe in Roosevelt, too?
I thought Roosevelt was a great president.
He said, bring on the hate. Roosevelt said that. Bring on the hate. I love that.
I love what you're saying. Lincoln was a great leader. He was a great leader. He well, maybe he was best for my folks. I know that. Again, when you have a president who says, listen, we are going to have to slash some Social Security, we are going to have to slash this, but we also need to tax the wealthy, we need to do this. And when you see this guy who's saying, listen, I know my party's going to kick my behind for doing this, and we still can't move forward, what do you do? Does he need to go in and scream at them? Or what should he be doing? They don't want to do it.
Maybe he has to be emotional, maybe that's the case. Very complicated, and I appreciate you guys reading the book. I really do. Thank you very much.
Before we wrap, he knows what he talks about. If you've ever been in Bill's office and in his home, it's lined with genuine letters from history. This is something that's been a big part of your life.
Yep, I love my country. I admire our leadership, and that's the best right there.
There we are.
Interesting format for history that I've come across yet. We want to thank you, Bill, for coming by, and thankfully we're all still in our seats as your book is called Killing Lincoln, and members of our audience are going home with their book.